You doing, Si?
Hi Gary.
Them seals you're after, they the right ones?
Yeah, they're perfect them. How'd you get them so quick?
Where did you try?
eBay. Joke.
And did you phone round any specialists in that?
No, we tried and they just didn't understand what we wanted, so I thought to give you a bell and
Would you know why you use David Manners?
yeah, is that where they come from?
I've had loads of bits for the XJS and that, and they've never been a problem. Anything I've asked for, they've found, or they've got on the shelf. But what's it for, this?
Yeah, the screens have been out front and back. I had loads of rust around the petrol flap, so we've plated it. And the rubbers were like, they were shrunk, they'd gone short, so yeah, they were about an inch short, they looked terrible, so throw new rubbers on it.
This is like brand new, isn't it? What's the mileage on this?
22,000 miles it's done.
Get out of it.
Yeah.
22,000 miles?
22,000 miles, yeah. It's like it's never been sat in.
So what was it in for if it's done such low mileage?
Corrosion around the window, front and back.
Yeah.
Painted the roof, tops of the quarters and the front scuttle.
Is this a UK car or does it come from
it's a
abroad?
Japanese import.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's why it's a 92.
Yeah.
But
I've
yeah,
never really been into these, but when you see a car like it's out the wrapper, innit?
yeah, it's lovely. It still
lovely,
smells
innit?
brand new inside.
Yeah.
Boss.
So we're getting the Bentley on the
Yeah,
on the
can't wait, yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. What? Show us a quick look at the jig.
Come on.
So how does this work? Don't you have something that fits onto the sill?
Them clamps there, they'll clamp your car to the jig on your sills.
Yeah. You know the sills are flat at the moment, but they have a lip which you can like bolster down.
Yeah, and then 4 clamps and pull away because yours is old. There'll be no measuring system for it, so we'll just have to have a play.
You put it into the computer and then it gives you the coordinates and everything else, yeah?
Yeah.
But there won't be any for that?
Don't think so, no, it's too old, isn't it?
Yeah, I could probably get one.
60s, is it?
It's a 67, but it was the same body, basically, give or take an inch or two.
Yeah.
Right through the 70s, 80s, 90s. 30 odd years, I think they made the same shape one.
Yeah. We'll try, like, but I doubt there will be.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's exciting, yeah. So I've got the rear wing, the rear panel. You said you want a boot floor, yeah?
Back panel.
I've got the feelers out at the moment. I've asked IntroCar and to get me one.
Sound?
So, all right. Look forward to it.
Cool.
And good luck with the seals.
Nice one, lads. Hi, Gary.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So now I'm back from Auto Renew and our conversation with Si. I'm now faced with the unenviable task of getting the car roadworthy, and so it starts and it stops and I'm able to get it onto the jig at Auto Renew so they can pull the body straight. A lot of work to do, a lot of body work to do, but I think first things first, if I'm going to get this car roadworthy, I've got to go right through the brakes. So I'm going to start off with bleeding the brakes, and I've also bitten the bullet, and I've explained in the past that if you don't do this system fully and wholly, you're asking for trouble. i.e. you've got to replace the brake pumps themselves. You don't know how long they've been in there. Normally the problem you have is the brake pump at the back, at the rear of the engine, which I think works the front rear calipers, I think it is, and I think the front brake pump works the front calipers on the front wheels and the rear brakes at the back, and also works off a brake master cylinder as well. So if all else fails and everything breaks down, at least you've got your master cylinder to stop the car. Obviously not high pressure, but it's low pressure and it'll do the job. You know, it'll get you home, whatever. So anyway, I've decided to bite the bullet and buy the whole kit really. Well, you know, I've done the flexi hoses on the car front to back. I've rebuilt the rear calipers, and also I've just purchased the brake valves and the brake spheres, or accumulators as we call them on the early cars, and along with a set of brake pumps as well. Because I mean, you see jobs I've done in the past. I give you an example. Look at the air conditioning job I did, both on the Corniche and the green Silver Spirit. You can kind of do a job in halves, and that's wholly, I mean, I'll be honest here, that's wholly down to the fact that I've got to do 3 episodes a month. So sometimes I have to jump off one onto another one, and you know, it's time consuming and it's difficult when you're a one-man show like me. But Anyway, sometimes you'll do jobs in halves and they'll come back and they bite you on the arse, as did the, you know, the Rolls-Royce Silver Spirit air conditioning system. I thought I'd get away with doing half the job and then fitting the expansion valve later, but of course it came back to haunt me. Now that's fine with an air conditioning system, but with brakes, you just can't mess around. You're messing with people's lives as well as your own. So anyway, I digress. Most importantly, I'm going to start by bleeding the entire system and just seeing what we've got, seeing if it'll hold the pressure, see if we've got brakes on all four wheels. And it's a complicated system, but when you look at it in the way, when I show you how it all works and that, it'll make things a lot clearer for you guys. But as I say, we don't mess around with brakes. So let me show you what I bought anyway from IntroCar. So this is the brake pump, of course, from the Prestige parts range at IntroCar. All good quality gear. I always use these, as you know. Here's your brake pump, and you have like a plunger, which it's driven by the camshaft, and that's what pumps your brake fluid around the system. This is the accumulator, or sphere if you want to call it that. So these are fitted like so, and this is your brake valve, which fits on top of that. And of course, here you've got your bleed nipple, you've got your return pipes that come off it as well. That's the one off the brake pump. The brake pump feeds that, and that's your brake pressure activator switch as well. Yeah, so all good. And as I say, you replace these as a set, as a pair. There's two of each and they go next to each other. Anyway, let me show you this. Right, so your brake pumps are situated here. That's where the front one is, just there. That's accessible, you just take this off. And in order to get to the rear one, the least accessible one, you basically lift the SUs, this whole contraption here. You've got to bolt through the middle, you've got to undo all your fuel lines, and it lifts off. And then it's totally accessible. And basically they go through the front and rear of the top engine plate. Yeah, let me show you this. There's your two valves, 1, 2, with the accumulators underneath them. You know, a little bit inaccessible, but just behind your left front wheel, at the bottom side, left side of the engine. And that's where they are, under all the suspension. Oh, and before I forget, remember those brake hoses I was talking about? These are them here. These feed and return to your accumulators and your valves, and they come straight off the reservoir. I'll show you here. See? Now, you can't really tell, but I can see now that these are split right the way along. I mean, they just go old and hard and they just start to split. And before you know it, you've got brake fluid pissing everywhere and you've got no brakes. So we replace these two with fresh hoses when we do the valves and the accumulators. As I say, always do it properly, you don't mess around with your brakes. But first, I'm going to attend to a couple of fiddly jobs that if you don't do so at the time, you'll forget and they'll come back and simply bite you on the arse later on, such as oiling up the drive shafts where they meet the axle. Now for this, you remove the 13mm bolts and simply squirt axle oil in through the small hole. After about 20 pumps each side, you simply replace the bolt and you're good to go. And also replacing a few earth straps that go from the chassis to the exhaust system. These earth wires, often called grounding straps or earthen braids, are installed between the exhaust system and the chassis in vehicles like Rolls-Royces. These ensure that the entire exhaust system is electronically grounded to the vehicle's frame. Apparently this is crucial for several functional and also comfort-focused reasons. Now to be honest, I'm not completely sure about the item's correct function, but I just like to replace like for like, because if it's been designed in a specific way, then it's obviously there for a reason. I also had to spend a couple of hours rerouting the entire handbrake assembly. You see, in my haste, I'd wrongly rerouted the cables underneath the rear subframe and then realised the correct configuration was to take them through the subframe, through a holding bracket, and then carefully clip the cables away from the prop shaft to each individual rear wheel. And as you can see here, it routes all the way from the back wheels, up, through the hole in the subframe, past the prop shaft. You see the holding brackets here, and then it continues all the way up, and the cables go to this contraption near the front. Fun and games. And so after securing the car's original number through DVLA along with the help of the Rolls-Royce and Bentley heritage, I promptly ordered 2 new plates from Frampton's. And after me stupidly ordering the wrong size, as you can see, Frampton's have generously put 2 of the correct size in the post free of charge. Quality service. Now some of you will know that most of the work I do on cars is without the help of the original workshop manuals. But, you know, and I have to say guys, these books I got off John Oxborough, they're absolutely invaluable. I mean, it's explaining to me here. I know I've given like a kind of gabbled explanation of how this braking system works. But if you look at this, if you can imagine this, 2 systems. So the front system works the front brake pump. These are under the car, as you know, at the side of the engine behind the left wheel. So this section works the front brake pump, the front accumulator, and the front distribution valve, brake distribution valve, which also works the front calipers, because you've got 2 calipers on each front wheel, and also the lower part of your rear caliper, the large piston. Now, this rear section works this brake pump at the rear of the engine. It also works the accumulator at the rear and the distribution valve at the rear, which does the height control valves and also does the upper pistons, or this has got a master cylinder which works them anyway on the top of the calipers. So if that doesn't confuse you, I don't know what will. Next, it was to that broken battery isolator. Now you remember I had to override this previously by adding an extra earth wire to the boot latch in order to start the car. So with the new isolator fitted, along with a new battery of course for now, I'm ready to go. Okay, so the battery's all connected. We know we've got ignition. And I just want to start it. It hasn't been started for, I don't know, a few months. So I don't really want to ignite the cold start mechanism. I'd sooner turn it over for a few seconds, you know, maybe 10 seconds, get the oil around the engine. So I'm not going to dip the pedal and let it go, because that normally ignites the starter, the cold start. So let's see how we go. There's the brake pumps oiling up. That's a lot quieter than it was, isn't it? You hear that little knocking sound? It sounds like the rear brake pump. I've got a feeling the rear brake pump has snapped its rod. I might be wrong, I hope I'm wrong, because it's a bit of a pig to get out. But normally you hear the brake pumps clicking like a tappity noise. And that's just kind of oiling the pumps up. That's why you use the 363. It's got like a little lubricant in it, you know. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see. Let's bleed the brakes and let's see what we've got. Quiet enough though. Okay, so now what I have to do is run the engine up to temperature before I can start bleeding the system. Now I don't want fumes all in the garage, so I want to close this door, but I know I've got an extractor fan, so I think, how about this, bit of improvisation. That's not a bad fit, is it? Then I can close the door. I'll take that round there and all the fumes go out and outside. Yeah, let's try that, shall we? do. So it's charging the battery, fabulous oil pressure. You look over here, there's your temperature, and look at that, over half a tank, not of petrol, of gasoline from years ago. And listen to how sweet it sounds. Incredible. Maybe gasoline's cleaner than petrol, I don't know. I thought it was cruder than petrol, but there you go. It's obviously got a better shelf life than ours. And if I climb underneath here, no leaks. A little bit of condensation there, understandable. Look at that, lovely dry system from front to back. Normally you see like smoke coming out of all the joints, but now they're all sealed nicely. And this is going to have to come off the rear exhaust box, you know, to do all the work and the, you know, the metal, beating it out and what have you, putting it back to shape. But yeah, the rest of the exhaust system can stay on there. And when it's all done, I can just reclamp it up with some sealant just to make sure. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that, and it sounds really nice. I can hear all the clicking stop. That's super smooth, that. So first of all, I top off the reservoir with the correct brake fluid up to the maximum mark. Then with the engine off but ignition switched on, the pedal is pumped until both brake lights are illuminated on the dash. A healthy system should normally be up to 100 pumps. And when that's done, I wedge a block between the seat to depress the pedal. I switch the engine on, run it up to temperature, and the bleeding sequence can begin. Starting with the accumulators, of course, under the left front wheel arch. So here there's no bubbles, just pure clean fluid, which is good. I check the levels in the reservoir once again. And then after that, I start with the left rear caliper, then the right rear caliper. Then I move around to the front calipers on both of the front wheels. Lower piston, of course, which is the high pressure system. The top one is the master cylinder. No. For some reason, I can't seem to get any fluid out of the rear calipers. Yet the front ones seem to bleed perfectly. As do the rear calipers on the front wheels. That's completely locked up, which tells you that the master cylinder is working. So if I take the piece of wood out and let the pedal up, pull a piece of wood out and it's off the brake, that's free. So the master cylinder is definitely working, because that's like the foolproof thing really, you know. If the brakes fail, at least you've got the master cylinder. You have to brake a little bit harder, but you know, the power brakes, you know, it's a big heavy car, so the power brakes are much more adequate than the master cylinder is, but at least it'll stop you in an emergency. Yeah, so I think, I mean, my take on it is, I think one or two of the brake pumps have basically snapped the rods and they just need replacing because it's not pumping the pressure around. Normally when you break the, you know, you saw them when I bled them before, and when you break the bleed nipple, it shoots out really quick and you have to just shut it again, open, shut it, because it comes out at such pressure. But it just seemed to me like there was no pressure there. Now and again you just see a little drip of brake fluid or nothing coming out. It's like the pressure's not getting pumped around. So if I had a gun to my head and I had to diagnose it, I'd say that the brake pumps were shot, one or two of them. And look, we're replacing them anyway, along with the accumulators and the valves. So, you know, but yeah, that's what I think. But at least we've got the braking system on the master cylinder, so we can move it in and out of auto renew. But yeah, and then we'll do all them jobs when it comes back. Okay, good-o or bad-o. And of course you'll notice on a Rolls-Royce or a Bentley, the two wheels on the left hand side are a reverse thread, so they actually tighten to the left. So let's get the wheels back on. As well as removing that old mangled bumper, of course. Back on holy ground, and we're ready for the trailer. So as my beloved Bentley climbs up onto its trailer for its surgery and a new lease of life, I can't help but notice how well she sits despite its smashed in backside. Don't worry, old girl, because we're gonna make you beautiful again. Thank you for watching this episode of Classic Obsession. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe. For those of you who are interested in purchasing some merch, you can see the website on your screen now. And see you all next time.